Hey guys. All right. So I want you to see me do this so that you know whatever I talk about is coming from light. Okay. Um, yeah. Wait. Okay. Welcome back to the channel. All right. So today I want to talk about going into the darkness. In my last video, I mentioned that as chosen ones, we get called into the darkness, right? For our training, um, to carry out missions, uh, work that needs to be done, work that we signed up for, right, as chosen ones. And in this video, I'm going to elaborate on that, and I'm going to give you a prime example of what I'm talking about. Okay, an example from my life, which is not something I ever thought I'd be talking about on the internet, but here I am. Okay, and that's because we we walk the talk. Okay, if I'm advocating for people to be authentic, transparent, and not be ashamed of who they are, then I got to be that, right? Okay, because my story, your story, whatever you've been through, it has a higher purpose other than evolving you. Okay, whatever trauma you've been through is has happened in order for you to help the collective as well as yourself. Okay, otherwise I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here making a YouTube video talking about my personal life, uh, because no, that's just not who I am. I never in a million years thought I'd be being a YouTuber. But when the universe tells you to do something and you choose the path, you do it. Okay, so chosen ones, you get called into the darkness. I know that my story is not, I know it's not the worst. I was fortunate enough that I have not been to the very, very low levels of hell. Okay, I've never been fully battered or assaulted physically. I've never been, sexually assaulted either. There are worse things that have happened to better people than what has happened to me. But I'm going to share with you my story. If you are a chosen one, you have a backstory that is also dark and interesting, right? And again, it's nothing to be ashamed of, okay? But I'm going to tell you the story in order to illustrate what I was talking about in my last video. And I'm going to show you how we get called into the darkness. We get instructed by God, by the universe, to go there, and you are protected the whole time. We are heavily protected when we are following directive from the universe on our mission. Okay, so I'm going to illustrate all those points. All right, so hold on. All right, when I was 19, I was back in Hawaii because I flunked out of college. All right, and if you guys are chosen ones, you have ADHD, you have a path that is outside of the box. You didn't do college either, right? That you like to learn, but not in that environment, right? You just can't sit still. Anyways, I was 19. I dropped out of college. I had to move back home to Hawaii, and I did not like it. My calling was to be in California, and chosen ones, you know that you are often called to be somewhere else other than the place where you're born. You are called away from home for a reason, okay? But anyways, I knew I couldn't stay in Hawaii. I had to get back to California, and that's where I met my twin flame. So there was a magnet pulling me back to California. And so I was on the phone with um, a guy friend who I had met in college who actually, he ended up going crazy from drugs. But I was telling him I want to. I have to find a way back to California. I need money somehow. And he said to me, he's like, "Have you ever thought about being an escort?" Okay, and no, I haven't. I never thought of that. But he described it to me. He's like, you know what an escort is. I'm not gonna describe it, but it's not hooking on the street. I hope I can say that on YouTube, but it is an exchange, right? It's prostitution. And he told me he had a friend who ran a business, this business, and he said he could put me in touch with that person if I wanted to do that. And I don't know why he did that. Like maybe he got a commission, or maybe he was just guided to guide me in that direction. But I thought about it and was like, I think that's something I can do. In fact, I know it's something I can do. And you want to know why? It's because as someone who was brought up in trauma, one of my adaptive behaviors was to dissociate. So, me making a somewhat conscious decision at the age of 19, I thought, hmm, I think I can do this because while I'm in the act of escorting, I can just go somewhere else in my head. Okay, this is a superpower that I've had since I was 3 to 5 years old, and my parents were always fighting. It was always a violent environment around me, and I would I would check out. I would be like, okay, you know what? I don't want to be here right now. I'm going to go somewhere else in my mind. I'm going to project to another location, to another experience, and not be here in my body. So I'm sure a lot of you have this ability, right? Um, so I was like, yeah, I can do that. I can do the escorting, and while I'm doing that, I'll just go somewhere else. And let me remind you again, I was desperate to get back to California because that is where I was being called to. My soul was being called to California, where my twin flame was and where I was meant to be. So at that young age, still I wouldn't make that decision now, okay? But that's why it happened when I was 19. I was like, yeah, I could do that. I could do that. So, um, because the business person um, w- was in California. That's we're in the Bay Area. So he put that person in contact with. Actually, he had his bottom bitch. I don't know, his number one person that worked for him contact me, and she asked me. She's like, okay, you want to do this? You want us to fly you from Hawaii to California, and you want to work this job? And I was like, yeah, yeah. And I don't know where I got the balls to do this now that I'm thinking about it, but I did. And she was like, okay, all right, and let's call her Mary. Okay, that's not her name, but um, let's give her a name, Mary. Mary was like, okay, do you need anything uh, upon arriving? Like, is there anything that you need or that you want? And I was like, yeah, okay, I want to get a breast augmentation, a boob job, because I did. I um I was kind of, you know, I was flat, and I wanted to have a full voluptuous feminine figure. So I said, yeah, I would like a boob job. I need to go to the eye doctor. I want to get my hair done. And she's like, okay, we'll schedule all that for you when you get here. And they scheduled my flight. I was like, okay. All right. So we had this was in the summer of 2003, and when the time came, my brother took me to the airport, and it turned out that my flight wasn't booked. And I was like, what the hell? My brother ended up giving me money to pay for my flight, but I got on this flight. Okay, I packed up whatever I needed. I got on this flight, and when I arrived in San Jose, come to think about it, I don't even know what Mary looked like, because this is before smartphones. I didn't know what she looked like, but I waited on the curb at baggage claim, and I saw her. I saw her pull up, and I went with her, and she took me back to the manager. I don't want to say, I don't want to call him a pimp, but took me to the manager's house, which was her boyfriend. Okay, and let's call him Jack. All right, so she took me to Jack, and I told him, I was like, hey, my flight wasn't paid for. And he was like, oh, really? I'm sorry. And he paid me back. He reimbursed me for the money that I spent to get on that plane. And he looked at me and he goes, are you sure you want to do this? Is this something that you want to do? And I said, yeah, yeah. I thought it through, and this is something I want to do. And now I want to highlight to you that how stupid, right? But I was guided to do this. I mean, I did it. And this is before I was awakened. This is before I knew about being a chosen one. This is just something I did. I flew by the seat of my pants. I was like, I just want to get back to California, and I'll do whatever it takes to get there. But I didn't stutter. I was like, yeah, I can do this. Okay, so I want to point out here, this is the dark side receiving me on the universe's behalf. Because who who does this happen to? Okay? Like I didn't even know these people, and I arrived in the hands of safety, in the hands of people who didn't want to take a, I mean, they didn't harm me. They I, it still blows my mind. It still blows my mind that this is how I ended up being an escort. But these people were very kind to me. Okay, they never hurt me. They never beat me. I never saw any drugs. They didn't coerce me in any type of way. Okay, so when I got there, he's like, "You want to do this?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's do this." I said, "Okay." So we had my surgery planned for like the next couple weeks. They dropped me off to my surgery. I thought it was the coolest thing ever because I had never been under anesthesia before. Don't ask me why. I thought that was cool. But I woke up from that surgery feeling like I had a ton of bricks on my chest, but I was just so excited. I was excited, like, oh my God, I'm gonna have a feminine form, right? So the pain was nothing. And yeah, uh, Jack and Mary, they nursed me through this period. They took care of me and made sure that I healed before they indoctrinated me into the work of escorting. All right. And so, hold on. After I had healed, then it was time to get to work. Okay, so I got my hair done. They got me contacts because I needed to go to the eye doctor. And then they started teaching me how to be an escort. I mean, I'm not going to go over that, but there are things you need to know how to do, um, nuances, protocols in order to operate as an escort. Okay, and this is in the Bay Area, so it was mostly professional tech people that I were my clients, but yeah. So God called me into this dark space, but I was received by, people who took care of me. Okay? This is what I'm saying. We are protected. Like, who else can go in blindly into a job like this and be protected? Okay? When I got there, they took care of me when I had my surgery. They gave me an apartment. They gave me a car. They took me to Wells Fargo, which I didn't know what Wells Fargo was. In Hawaii, there's no Wells Fargo, but it's a bank, right? Got me a bank account. And Jack, Jack said to me, save your money, which of course I didn't because I was 19. But who sets you up like that? Who sets you up like that to succeed? All right. So I'm living in the Bay Area. I got a car, I got an apartment, I got money, and I'm living the life, or so I think. Okay, at that age, and yeah, that was any other situation would have been I would have gotten hurt some way somehow, or this was like I don't know how to explain it except for what I'm trying to explain to you right now. We as chosen ones, we get called into the darkness and we are protected, okay? Like even on a bad day, um, when people were maybe not that nice to me, I would tell Jack like it wasn't a good day, and he would tell as far as managers in this industry goes, he would tell me, hey, you know what, Kristen, turn your phone off, and he would take me out to dinner, or he would take me. We went to Santa Cruz one time. Okay, he never forced me to do anything. Never, never. He was like, if you're gonna do this, I'm gonna protect you while you're doing this. That's my motto for this job, and I don't know any other pimps who have the same motto. Okay, I mean, obviously he took a larger portion of my money than was fair, but like, come on. Anyways, so I did that for about 3 months in the summer of 2003, and I had the experiences that the universe wanted me to have. I encountered the people who I was supposed to encounter to have the energy exchange, right? And then, so my birthday is in September. So that was like from June to September of 2003. On my 20th birthday, I worked, and I had plans to go to LA because I was dating someone in LA and I was going to meet up with them. But that day I worked, my very last client of the day, as I was walking him to the door, he grabs my hands behind my back. Okay. And I was like, what? He grabs my hands and he had handcuffs. He handcuffs me and he says to me, he's like, look, I'm sorry. I don't want to hurt you. I need to rob you. I need to take your money because I need the money. I don't want to hurt you. And I was pissed. I was like, what the hell? What the fuck? I like this guy. I mean, not like that, but I thought he was cool as far as clients go. And so I'm just in disbelief at what's happening. But I'm being robbed right now. I'm handcuffed, and this guy is telling me he's gonna take all my money. So he asked me where I keep my money. I tell him, and it's not even that much because I didn't even work that much that day. But and also part of the money was the money that he paid to see me. So he goes and he grabs the money and he's like, again, I'm so sorry. I don't want to hurt you. I just I just really need money. And he has the key to the handcuffs. He's like, I'll leave this here for you. Tosses it behind the couch. He's like, I just need time to get away. And I'm looking at him like hella pissed. And he gives me back $100. He's like, here, I'm sorry, okay? And then he leaves. And I'm standing and there, the door's wide open, he's gone. I'm handcuffed. And I'm like, what the fuck just happened to me? And so I'm like, I'm handcuffed, okay? I grab my phone. I call Jack. I don't even know how I did that. I called Jack and I'm like, Jack, get over here, okay? Scott, somebody just robbed me and handcuffed me, and get over here now. And Jack comes over and he's laughing at me like he's seen worse shit than this. And I was like, uncuff me. So he uncuffs me and I tell him, okay, today is my birthday. It is the day I was born, and it could have been the day I died. All right, but that was the universe coming in all right, after my mission was complete, and saying, okay, get out of there, all right. I got robbed, but was I harmed? Not really. That was the nicest robber that I could have ever encountered. He even gave me a refund on the robbery, a partial refund. And so, but I heeded, I listened, and this is before I knew I was a chosen one. This is before I knew the work that I was doing. But I was like, yo, today is my birthday. The day I was born, it could have been the day I died. I'm done doing this. So I told Jack, I'm not doing this anymore. Okay, obviously, I don't want to do this. And he was like, all right, all right, all right. It was a good run. That's fine. You can go. Okay. He didn't try to keep me. He didn't try to like hold me hostage or hold me as a slave. It was all business. And so what I'm sorry, it still blows my mind that that was my experience being an escort, and how safe I was. I mean, not to put it lightly, but that is a prime example of how you get called into darkness to do the work or to learn your lessons, and you get saved. You're flying by the seat of your pants, and you always get out in the nick of time. Okay. um, Now, I'm going to give you another example, just to drive the point in. After I stopped being an escort, I had met a guy who I was dating, and I liked him, who also happened to have the same birthday as me, but he was living in San Diego, and I wanted to be with him. Or I don't know. I was young. I had nowhere to be. I had no plan after being the escort, and I had nowhere to live. I had nothing, no job. So I went to go stay with this guy in San Diego. Now, this was immediately after the escort fiasco. He was living in San Diego at a grow house. Now, his brother was the head of a weed op in San Diego, and this is when it was very, very illegal. Okay, it's not so illegal now, but I moved into that situation. Now, I wasn't part of the operation, but I helped because I was living there and I wasn't paying rent. So I I was doing the, roots box reggae thing with um, my living situation. Now, I did not know that that operation was already under surveillance from the feds, the DEA. I did that for about 6 months, okay? And I don't know, on a Wednesday, my boyfriend and I, we got into an argument, and we just decided, you know what? We don't want to be here in San Diego. Okay. So we rented a U-Haul, we packed up all our stuff, and we just drove to the bay, okay, on a whim. 2 days later, the feds come and they knock the doors in of that operation, and everyone goes to prison, okay? So close. By the skin of my teeth, I was out of another situation that could have ended up very badly, okay? And I'm telling you this to show you, to demonstrate that we as chosen ones, we get called into the darkness, but we are protected. We've got people on, spirit people on standby the whole time, making sure that we are safe, making sure that we do not get hurt, and making sure that we get out with unscathed. Okay, it is crazy. It's crazy. I can't even believe that this is my life. But I'm sharing this with you to tell you, like, this is real. Okay? This is real. And it is our responsibility as chosen ones to not get caught up. Not Don't get caught up in the dark side. Even though we have to, you know how hard that is, okay? This is why we are so badass. Because we can go into the dark side and not get caught up in that. We can still remember that we are good people, and we're just doing our job. We're just doing our calling, okay? So, yeah, hold on. Yeah, okay, so that is my story. I'm sure you all have your own stories that are equally, even greater even like higher risk, higher, lower darkness than mine. Mine, I don't think was that bad. Okay, but we get out alive because we have been protected. Our since the moment we're born, this is a protected, chosen child of God, right? And did we go full evil? Did we go full retard? Okay, that is from Tropic Thunder. I'm not clowning on retarded people. It's so annoying that I even have to say that. But no, we did not go full retard. All right. We stayed within our dignity of being still on God's side. But we get called to the darkness and we get pulled out right in the nick of time. Okay. That is real. Right. I got more stories, but this video's already been very long. So if you want to share your story with me, please do. But yeah, okay. This this spiritual war that we are taking part in, it's really happening. Okay. Now I encourage everybody who's getting called to the good side, please keep going. Okay. We need you. I need you. All right. Okay. I love you guys. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.